Hey guys, Bryan here from Liquid Concepts. So today we're going to talk a little bit about hydro dipping frames. And so what we've got here is we've got a brace that we're going to be dipping, and it's going to be very, very similar to any type of welded frame that you would have. Of course, a tubular frame or something like that. And so we thought we'd shoot a quick little video, show you guys a few things on what to look for, as well as how to approach dipping an item just like this. So let's get started. So we've got our frame right here, and a couple of things that we want to look at. Now, of course, number one is this was already powder coated from the factory. Now, we could have, if we wanted to, taken all of this powder coat completely down, smoothed it out, got it all back completely smooth. Now, of course, if the customer wants that, then that's of course what we're gonna do. Now, in this case, this does have a little bit of texture to it because we did leave the powder coating on there, so it does have that little bit of texture on there. So in this case, it is not going to come out full show quality, but of course the customer knows that, and it still will come out really good. But if you are wanting that full glossy show quality finish, then definitely going all the way back down to bare metal, making sure everything is smooth before you get started is definitely the route to go on anything that you have when applying it to something like this. So a couple of things to note whenever you're looking at a bar like this. Now, of course, one thing is that your film only comes so wide. And so this is one of the widest films that we have. Now, of course, you can clearly see that we're still a little bit off right here and a little bit off right here. So inevitably, we're going to have to turn this way. Now, a couple of things to remember is that it's not a big deal whenever you're dealing with non-directional patterns, but in a pattern like this with the carbon fiber, you do want to make sure that all of your patterns try to go the same way as much as possible, or of course, let the customer know beforehand. So in this case, we already know that we're going to be laying out the film this way. Thankfully, this is the only thing that we're going to be dipping right now, but if we ever go to do anything else on the car with this part already installed, we just need to make sure that we always have that carbon fiber running the same way throughout every single part that may be around it. So just definitely keep that in mind. So of course, a couple of things to look at. Now, of course, if this is going to be a strut tower brace and it's going to be on the car, then inevitably it's always going to be sitting just like this. So inevitably, you're never going to see this back side. Now, a couple of things to remember. If the bar is really small, then normally we can allow that film to wrap around, and normally it's going to look really good. But if you do have much larger bars, as in maybe a 2-inch or a 3-inch round bar, that is something to definitely keep in mind, that you may have to double dip that, and then you're going to be spending a lot of time taping off maybe this front half to the back half and things like that. So definitely keep that in mind. Now, of course, because this is a smaller bar, we are able to go ahead and just dip this front, because that's what we want the best looking part of the entire process to be, is this front part here. And then of course, whenever we go to get everything finished up, we'll probably come back in with a black and black this in, or of course, in your case, if you're using another pattern, use a like color. In case you were doing maybe a camouflage, you might do an OD green or a brown or something like that, just to kind of help blend that in, because inevitably, nobody's probably ever going to see this except for the customer whenever they first initially install it, but it is always something to remember whenever you have parts like this right here. So of course, as you can tell, we do have the film curling up right here. Now, of course, something that's very easy to do, we're gonna take the tape here, set this corner back down, that way we keep it locked in. Same thing with this one right here. We'll keep this corner locked in. And now, of course, we're not gonna tape the entire film, but to make it easier to get in the water, in this case, with this film, we're going to just take this and pull it all the way down here. And again, we'll do the same thing, mainly to make sure that everything is a lot easier when going down into the water, and it doesn't actually take that much longer to go ahead, lay a piece of tape down, and make sure that you have easy handling whenever you can pick it up and lay it straight into the water. All right, so now that we've got this on the water, of course, we're gonna go ahead and let it sit for the soak time, and then we'll activate it. Once we activate it, let it glass out, and then of course, get to dipping. So of course you'll notice that I went down nice and slow and steady, and we actually got really good wrap all the way around the entire backside, which is a lot better than what I was originally even thinking. But because we got everything activated right and all of that, it came out looking really good. Now we'll flip this over, and of course front side looks amazing, looking really good. So of course we will go through, we'll put it in the rinse station, get it all rinsed off, and do any touch-ups if necessary. Again, we might come back in, black in this this backside back here, but other than that, we'll go through, make sure everything looks spectacular for the customer, and then of course we'll go through, clear coat it, and show you guys the end result. So stay tuned. All right, so we've got everything all finished up. We've got our candy laid down on this, and it came out looking amazing. So let's kind of go over a few things of what all we did. Of course, you saw the dip. Everything came out looking really good, especially on the back side of that. I'll show you guys that here in just a minute, but everything else came out looking really good as well, especially with the candy. And so as you can see here, we've got the plate already back installed on here just to give it that nice little look, so that way you still have that raw aluminum plate there. And then of course we have the red candy over the whole thing. Now of course we've also done the back side right here. Now because we did have a really good dip all the way through here, all we really did was come back in and black in this little area right here just to make it a little bit more professional. Again, nobody's gonna see that, but it's something that we did want to go ahead and do. And then of course on each of the ends down through here, we've blacked those out just to give it a nice little touch. Now again, I know these are never probably going to be seen, but whenever the customer picks it up and they're looking around and all of that, it does give for a lot better overall finish. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them below. We'd love to hear from you on anything hydrographics related, as well as let me know how you feel like this came out. If you would have done anything differently or anything like that, we'd always love to hear from you. Also, if you haven't already, definitely check out the website. It has everything that you need for the hydrographics, including all the materials that we used here, along with everything else that you're going to need, from the tanks to the training to even all of the materials. It's all there on the website, so definitely check the links in the description below. If you haven't already, definitely hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you subscribe to our weekly tips and tricks on anything hydrographics related. I'm Bryan from Liquid Concepts, and this is how we customize your world. We'll see you guys next time.